So recently, I came, I don't know, I was just like relaxing, having conversations with people just about life in general. And there's one thing that I keep hearing, especially now that I'm coming to the second half of my college career. People are thinking about careers and whatnot. And the one thing I keep hearing from people is this concept of real life. For example, I was talking with someone once and they were saying, well, all this stuff, like you got to make sure you're prepared for real life. And in my head, I'm wondering, well, what do you mean by real life? Do you mean real life meaning that you want that the life that you're living when you give up on your dreams? Real life meaning when you actually start giving a crap about your life? Real life meaning things that actually are happening and that you're going to have to be in full control of? Because while we're not clear with this definition of real life, quoting, like quote unquote, calling it real life, what are you really saying? If we're looking at that quoted phrase, real life, in the context of the words that you're using, you're basically saying that everything up until this point right now, to when you're viewing this video or whenever the concept just resonates with you, everything up until that point is completely irrelevant. That means that everything that you've accomplished in your life, everything that got you to where you are now, is completely useless and therefore should be disregarded as a part of you for where you're going in the future. Something sounds wrong about that to me, you know. And while I feel like I get what people are talking about when they say real life, but it's still the same idea resonates with me. What were you doing prior? Were you living a fake life? When you came out the womb from from your mother that birthed you, with the father that should be taking care of you, they raised you to be a fake child, to have a fake life, so that way you can start living it after maybe 20, 25 years, depending on whenever you decide to start real life. It's something that is not clearly stated, but it's clearly used a lot, especially in our society. Well, this doesn't matter to me because, wait until real life starts. Real life started when you came out the womb. Real life started when you started taking your first baby steps. Real life started when you took your first breath on this world. Real life is when you first started talking to people. Real life is when you decided to go to school and take your life somewhat seriously. Real life is when you decided to exit that. Real life is when you started to do something that was going to get you where you're supposed to be in life from where you currently are. That's what real life is. So I hear people say real life. You hear people say real life. But do they really understand what they're saying when they say real life? Because when I hear these words and hearing it enough, I understand what people are saying. When you start, what real life really is when you're basically done with school, you have no other responsibilities. It's just you making money and, retiring and doing all that other nonsense, which has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with you getting where you want to be in life, which is what real life is. That's life, growth, eternal growth. And should you choose to do so, prosper. But for some people, they have the concept lost, saying that real life is what happens when, you're done with school or you're done with what X, Y, and Z. And basically what that entails, especially with the tone that they're giving it, it's of giving up on everything else that matters. Let me just work till I die and, let's see what happens. Hopefully I have kids that do something different. But likely they're going to do exactly what you did because you didn't teach them any better. So I would change this concept of real life. Honestly, if I were you, if I were myself, obviously I'm working on doing that right now. I hear this enough where it's just something just clicked with me this time around where it actually just really bothered me for me to actually project this out there so that I can share this with the world. Hopefully that you have somewhat of a similar idea of what I'm talking about and maybe you can like agree with me in some shape, way, or fashion. But understand when you're using that term real life, what are you really telling the world? Are you telling the world that you're actually going for your dreams? Are you telling them that you're just going to maintain stagnant, or are you telling them that you're just dying on the inside? To me, real life, it's the first thing I said. Making sure that I'm building the life that I want to live, and for what that means for my future kids, or if I choose to have kids, obviously, but for the future, that people will look at that example and keep doing that, achieving what they want to achieve. Then there are people that define real life as, when you start living a life that you're going to hate. Why? Why should you hate the life that you're living? Is it because you're doing something that you don't want to be doing? Then don't do it. Like these things are here. There are other ways to tackle these things that you are worrying about. So stop focusing on those things and focus on what actually matters to you. That's what life is. So I felt like I had to share that real quick. I don't want to make this very long, but really, 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 really be intentional about your use of certain words. If I can give you any kind of value in this video, it's for you to use certain words, use all words with the actual proper intention behind them that you actually mean. Mean what you say and say what you mean. So that way nothing's lost in translation. You're not feeding nonsense to anyone. And that way we're all progressing to a better lifestyle. Communicate clearly obviously rotates towards everything moving more clearly, meaning messages move more clearly, meaning groups move more clearly, meaning change happens more clearly and quickly and more efficiently. So thank you for watching this, and hopefully you treat your whole life as if it is real life, because it is. Every day, this moment is real life, and so is every moment afterwards. Thank you.